online broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
I was good on my own, that's the way it was.
Hey.
That's the way it was.
Starting slow. Hey.
On some faded love. Shit, what the fuck you complaining for?
Hey. Let's just sit in it for a little bit. Hey.
Yes.
Welcome, AfterBuzzers, to another fantastic episode of Bring It. This is season 3, episode 6, Bucking Bride.
Yep.
I am your host, English Cleveland, and I'm joined by my lovely, lovely co-host.
I'm Tamara Brown.
Tamara Brown.
As always,
we can find you
on Twitter at Brown Tamara, on Instagram at Tamara_blue.
Hey.
And right here at the Bring It table.
Yes. Every week. We were just checking to see how many more episodes we have, and it looks like we only have 2 more. If I'm wrong, please correct me, but I think that we only have 2 more episodes. It's said online.
And it might be a split season, so we might be coming back in a few months with it. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I was just looking online actually to see their tour dates, to see what's going on with that. So
another thing, I'll save that for news
and gossip. Okay, let's get into this episode then. This is a short week for the girls. We found out Tina's getting married, so their practice is kind of cut a little bit short, but I did notice that they didn't add anything new to this, and maybe that was why. But we started off with the episode with Faith and her mom in the car, and her mom drops a big bomb on her.
Yeah.
That her dad doesn't know that she is a dancing doll.
Doesn't like the majorette style.
Yeah.
I really like these personal anecdotes where we get to see... I really like to see, I feel like I'm getting a peek behind the curtain, and we are getting to see their families a little bit, and the dads. I really like that, getting a little personal. I like seeing that side of them.
The car ride is like a new thing this season, I've noticed. Like, we've seen Cameron and her mom in the car driving to practice. We get to see Faith and her mom driving to practice, and you get to hear a little bit about more outside of the dollhouse, like school.
A little bit of dash cam confession.
Yeah, dash cam confession, exactly. And I think that, you know, as a parent, and with them living separately, I'm not a parent, but I am a product of a divorced or separated family. And so I completely understand when, you know, one parent is like, you know, I want her to be a part of this, or I think she should do this. And then the other parent is like, no. And, you know, as my mom, because that's who I was raised with, you know, she's like, well, you know, and it's not like they're trying to hold a secret from each other. I think at the end of the day, she knows what her daughter wants best. Yeah. And she, you know.
Yeah. And Dana said herself that she grew up majorette dancing. Also, by the way, I really like that she actually said that she grew up majorette dancing, because it was the first, because I'm always skeptical every time Dana says, Miss D taught me how to dance when we were neighbors. It just seemed like it was one time that she's been reminiscing about this whole season so far. But if I'm like, okay, that's cool. You have been a dancer. You do know the ropes. I dig that. But also, she said that she grew up in the church, because the Faith's dad's hesitation was that he felt that dancing is a little too sexual and, inappropriate for what his beliefs are.
Right.
And Dana grew up in the church too, but she said, you know,
and her parents were pastors or something, and she didn't have so I guess it's just all the matter of perception. I just always think if it was for me and my child, like, what would I do? Like, would you allow your child to dance majorette style?
Well, would your parents would have had a problem with that? My
dad would have been the same exact way. I don't think my dad would have went for it. And I don't think my mom really would either. I think that a lot of the things that I've seen on the show are a little too mature for a young girl. And especially when I was growing up, there wasn't, Instagram and Twitter and social media like that. And so now that there is, and people are kind of having to be forced to grow up fast, and I think it may influence something outside of just them doing it in the dollhouse. It may influence them to do something else, or may entice the wrong people. Yeah,
I can see that. I mean, especially Instagram and Twitter, that kind of thing does. It brings out the creepos. Yeah. Be realistic. Like that can happen. Yeah. But in the dancing itself, like I don't think my parents would have had a problem with it. But it's all a matter of perception, and a lot of people they base it off faith, and their faith, they don't think that they should be doing that. And so, and it's funny, her name is Faith. Yeah. So. but the Miss D doesn't tend to go as sexual as some of those teams.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Some of the times I'm like, okay, that's too much. But sometimes I've seen, she kind of does scale it down. So she pushes the limit a little bit. She's riding the fence. But this episode was so beautiful to me because Kayla's mom getting married, we've seen since the beginning of the history of Bring It. Kayla's dad, we saw transition from him not showing up to any of her, competitions or him being a part of it. Just like we get to see Faith's dad, he really wasn't for it, and so now we see him in the stands all the time. He gets his one-on-one camera action time, and now
handsome dude, by the way,
handsome guy. And now he's stepped up to the plate and finally decided after so many years to put a ring on Tina's finger. I think it's well deserved. They were together since they were really young. They had Kayla when they were young. And I know Tina has mentioned before, like, they didn't have a lot. So just marriage wasn't something that they focused on or that they kept, she thought of all the time. They were wanting to raise a child. And now that Kayla's grown and she's out of the house and, or
she said they've been together 18 years.
Yeah. It's so cool. It was such a great thing to see. And, we saw Miss D's vow renewal last year. So each season it looks like we're seeing a wedding. So Selena, girl, you better find you a man because you never know. Season 4, you may be the one getting married. We'll be watching that.
And, since she got to attend this wedding, you know what they say? So many people, I don't know what the percentages is, meet their spouses at weddings.
Right. But one thing, Selena, that we do have to talk about is your choice of attire. The white dress is something that has been a fashion faux pas for so many years. But then I have seen people now, with how time has progressed, that women have all white weddings where everyone wears white, or some people don't mind other people wearing white because they're not wearing white, and not only because of the traditional, like if you're a virgin, whatever, like some women wear a blush pink or an ivory or something like that. What did you think about Selena's
hers was definitely, I actually went to a friend's wedding one time when I was about, I don't know, 21 or something. My a friend got married, and I wore like an off-white cream color, and I was feeling uncomfortable about it, but I didn't have anything else at the time. And so my mom was just like, no problem, put on a belt. We found like a nice, like a complimentary, it was like a navy blue accessory, just so that I wasn't in all white. Yeah. So,
but to me,
but Selena's dress,
she wasn't invited.
Voom though,
and she wasn't invited, and she got invited last minute. And your first choice was to pick a white dress. I would have been pissed off.
But I'm not just a white dress, but like a lace, glam white dress, making you look. I mean, Selena's hot anyway, but that was a sexy number.
Selena has her moments. She has her good moment where she does crazy stuff like that. And then she has her other moment, which we got a chance to see as well. She, as soon as she was invited to the wedding, she decided to throw Tina a bachelorette party with male strippers, which was great that she incorporated JJ, which is the twins and Sanjay's father, as well as
Calvin and
what is his name? Tina's husband.
Is it
Terrell?
Yeah.
Terrell. So they were all a part of it. It was super fun. It was cute.
It was very cute.
And it, I'm glad to see all the parents finally this season. We went from last season and the seasons before of bickering and them not liking each other. And that's why Selena wasn't invited to the wedding.
Yeah.
But now we see that they're able to overcome those issues and come the things that they have against each other and get along. So it was cute to see them all having fun. And this season, it seems like with DDP, it's all about them having fun. They have that room. Maybe the room was a great idea, Miss D, because that room has really brought some positivity to the ladies, because when they stood outside, it was like they were fighting for like a corner to watch the girls dancing. They were cold, they were hot, they were there just 24 hours all season long.
And this little bachelorette party was cute. Like sometimes those little goofy sketches they put together for the room are a little too goofy, but this one was cute. I was into it.
Yeah, me too. So this week for competition, the girls are competing against Velocity, Elite Stars of Nashville with Tyrus, and then the Dazzling Divas of Macon, Georgia.
I wanted to wear a fur tonight, like a stole.
Yeah.
To pay homage to what's
Rick.
his name? Rick.
Yeah.
Rick. Yeah, the coach. That damn piece of fur,
whatever he had going on
working
there. It was like roadkill on his shoulder. So this episode was high energy as far as who we were competing against. We have Rick, who we've seen them before. They're a very aggressive team. They are demanding with their moves.
I loved the footage of showing them in practice.
Yes.
Because we actually got to see a good amount of dancing from that team.
Yeah,
showing
we did.
them that's what I want to see. That's what I've been saying this whole time. More dancing. And Miss D, before it introduced him, said that is a team that is very aggressive and good, and she was like talking them up, and then we see them practice, and I was like, damn.
But did you notice that she mentioned something like she kind of wished they could tone it down a little bit? But my thing is there a line, to draw where there's a limit of how high your tone needs to be? She's always telling the girls, buck harder, get down lower, more energy. So why do you demean a team who has too much energy? Is there such a thing as too much energy as a dancer?
I mean, their hair whips were insane in the practice footage.
Yeah, and it's not like they're all over the place where you can't catch up with them or they're not visually appealing.
It was like precise. Like it was just so
on point and aggressive.
Yeah.
And that's what bucking is. Yeah. So actually I like that team. And then, we've seen Tyrus in the Elite Stars, and he's a character in himself. He's very kicking crazy.
Yep.
And
he said, looky, 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 here comes Miss Cookie.
Yeah.
Sassy.
He's we really get to see more of Tyrus more than we get a chance to see his team.
Yeah, that's true, yes.
But it's funny and contrived. We've seen the hallways and the kicks and all of that. The girls this week, they're doing the duet competition as well as a stand battle as normal. And Miss D is going forward with the duet, a gospel theme. She decided, you know what, I want to move the crowd. I want to get these, do something different. I want more lyrical, and I want to give Sky, Faith, and Cameron a chance to try out for this, duo. And to me, I went into one part of my brain and I was like, okay, you know what? Why is she giving Star and Sky a chance? I know it's cute. Like, she wants them to mirror each other and it's a duo. But then I thought on the other half of my brain, she is really believing in them.
Yeah.
She's not giving up on them.
Yeah.
I think they've given up on themselves.
Yeah. It's interesting when she introduced who's going to be auditioning for these duets, because usually when it comes to a solo or any sort of duet like that, she says, I'm picking, Cameron or whoever because of,
Their
you're
style.
great at this, you're great at this style. But whenever she brings up the twins, it's always because I want to give them one more chance. Like, it's never like, I'm picking them because of merit that they've shown me. You know?
And maybe she thought in her head, since they don't buck as hard and they're not as aggressive, with this being more of a fluid dance, they can kind of be more relaxed and it's more emotional, so it's slower and they can grasp that and give us their all within that. But they didn't even do that. They had their 15 minutes to come up with a choreographed dance to audition, and they just came very lackluster as usual.
And it's always in what we get to see of them, to me it's like, I mean, their moves are great, they're great dancers, but it's always here. It's always here.
They just seem very uninterested. Like, why am I here? Why did she ask me to do this?
And she even said, like, you look the same dancing as you do sitting there looking at me right now,
And they do. And it's horrible. Like, maybe if we just played them back every single episode that we've watched, like, sometimes, like, even, just us doing AfterBuzz or just doing red carpets or any of the things that we do, and like I watch myself back and I look and I cringe, like, oh,
it's terrible to watch yourself.
It's the worst thing ever. But then
have y'all done it? It's terrible to watch yourself.
But then you learn. That's how you learn.
Have to.
So maybe they need to watch they have tons of footage. Like, go back and dig deep, girlfriends, and look at the footage that you have. Look at your facial expressions. Make a change. Or else people are going to get tired of seeing the same thing every week.
You're twins. You can see what the other one looks like.
Exactly.
And you know that that's you. That's
like, if I look anything like that, I'm going to kick myself. Because, facial expressions, like, that's the easy thing. Like, even if you don't have all the moves and you're not as aggressive, make your face seem like it, because then people are looking at you and then maybe they could kind of like believe it a little bit more. But when you don't look like you're interested, it's written all over your face. Literally. So Miss D decided, I want to do Jesus dying on the cross theme.
That, I was like, oof. That's a little...
I thought so too. What did you when she first said that, what was your first reaction?
It just seemed a little like, like I don't know how to explain, like
too much?
Too like graphic, I guess?
Yeah.
I
just thought it was just a little bit too inappropriate for what it is. Like, I get if we're doing like a Christian play or or the whole theme of the battle is like, we're doing lyrical or something like that, or you're doing it for a church or something like that. But in a stand battle and then the girls aren't dressed like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like very like you said, like, I don't know about that.
It made me also wonder about the timeline, because last week was the Halloween episode.
Yes.
So if we are going, like, was this a week later or a couple weeks later?
Yeah, I think that time. I think that, not to cut you off, but for some reason, I think that they filmed this before they even did the doll boxes.
I think so. You know exactly what I was about to bring that up.
Yeah. Because Mimi even mentioned that she was nervous because Faith has never did a duet. She's never did a solo. She's never did a trio. And I was thinking,
like, she did.
They just did a lyrical trio. Like they did a lyrical trio, exactly what they're doing now. Well, not a duo, but a trio. And it was Faith, Cammie, and Christiana, right?
Yeah.
So it was basically the same thing. But yeah.
So she had done it. Yeah, I noticed that too when Mimi said that. So yeah, I don't know when this one was actually took place. But.
Yeah. And also in the dollhouse with them practicing, Ms. D wants to teach the new girls the chair split, the infamous chair split.
Oh, damn, it looked good.
What do you think about the chair split? Do you think that it's inappropriate, or do you think that it's appropriate for girls to dance, young girls to dance on chairs and use chair as a prop? Kind of like a lap dance. You know what I mean? Like, that's what comes to my mind.
Yeah, I guess that doesn't come to my mind. I think it's fine. And like the chair split, that is an impressive move. But I didn't think it was necessarily like overly sexual dance. It was just chair as a prop and standing up, and like I don't think a chair dance has to be. It doesn't equal sex in my mind. It's just a prop to me.
Okay, cool. So let's get into competition day. So we're here. We have all the theatrics. We have, Tyrus and his kicking self. We have Rick and his stole or roadkill, whatever you want to call it. And then we have the Velocity team, who we really got to see a little bit of time with, but we learned that they're a team from New Orleans. Shout out to New Orleans. I love you.
Yeah, me too.
And we get to see a surprise. Faith's dad.
Yeah.
He shows up, and what a perfect week for them to have him come. He's really hesitant over, how the dolls dance and all that. So this week, with them doing a, more Christian inspired dance routine, have daddy come, show him what we're all about. We're not really doing hoochie mama stuff. Like we're reserved, we got this on lock. And I think it was super cute to see two parents that aren't together come together and compromise and support their child, because that's what it is at the end of the day. I think it gave her a boost. And when we saw her out on the dance floor, you could see her facial expressions, and she was giving it her all.
Yeah, and he got to see her doing what her forte, ballet, lyrical, that kind of thing. Also, by the way, I just love that Misty chose that dance style for this week, the lyrical style. It was cool to see the girls do that style of dance.
Yeah.
And if he, and good too that it was coupled with a chair dance, because if he, like you and probably a lot of people, if he does think that a chair dance is a little bit too sexual, at least he got to see
both ends
of the spectrum, and he can make up his mind, and he still apparently thinks that he's cool with it.
Yeah, so good. Shout out to Faith and her dad. So the duets, we got to see the Dazzling Divas of Macon, Georgia. Their duet was pretty interesting. Was it like a court jester style of theme?
I guess it was, and I to me it looked kind of Mardi Gras-ish. I thought they were, even though it was black and white, but I thought they were going for that kind of thing. Maybe it was just court jester.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
But they were completely opposite. They weren't dancing together. It was two different dances on two different sides of the gym, but it was two people.
Yeah.
Which, like Ms. D even mentioned, like it was a little strange to see, but I don't know.
Maybe technically a duet.
Maybe we needed to see a background of the full dance, and I'll get into some of the full dances that you guys have been sending us later. You guys are just fantastic. So the dolls, they, like we mentioned in their duet, what I liked about theirs mainly was that it was different. Even though it was strange, it was something I don't think people were expecting. So then when you see something like that, you're caught off guard a little bit, and you're like, oh, why am I crying? Like, am I in church? Like,
Mimi shed some tears.
It broke down the barrier, thankfully, for Faith's dad too. He got it, like you said, he got a chance to see. It broke down the barrier of the repetitive of what we see every week, and all of that. So I did like that it was different. And then we get into the stand battle. So we see the dolls, they beat out Velocity. They really Velocity, we didn't get to see a lot of them though.
Yeah.
But you could kind of tell that they weren't prepared for who they were coming up against. It's pretty interesting to see what teams, you know, enter into these competitions.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking earlier when I was getting ready and I was thinking about the show and what we were going to talk about, and I was just thinking, like, do they have a limit with the teams from the same city? Because we really don't get to see, like, the Purple Diamonds dance against the Dolls as much. And you would think because they're in the same city, they would enter a lot of the same competitions.
I don't know how I don't know how big Jackson is, but, like, you know, Nashville's huge, New Orleans is huge. How many teams are in each of those cities? But we usually see the same representative.
Yeah. And then we see the Dazzling Divas beat out the Elite Stars. So this is where it gets really intense because Miss D, for some reason, these two teams, the Dazzling Divas and the Elite Stars, she has like this, I don't know, like animosity or something against them that she was just like, she thought the Elite Stars should have beat out the Dazzling Divas. Yeah. What did you think?
I mean, like I would say, it's hard to say. We don't see enough to really know. I don't know. But if she thinks that, I mean, I trust that it's probably true.
Yeah.
Well, because she said something like, you know, like maybe you wouldn't notice if you're just like a regular spectator, but if you are somebody who knows dance, she said like flexed feet, bent legs, you know, she noticed those things.
But I mean, the judges are watching it too, and they know how to critique. And you know, when she did mention that, I was thinking, well, we're not the ones judging it. I'm not the one that's saying who's winning. You're not the one saying, the judges. And when they give their critiques, they know what they're talking about. They seem like
seeing the same judges lately.
Yeah, and it's weird because we've never got a chance to see the judges. So maybe they're just there all along, just like the commentator guy. Yeah. We see him every week, but we haven't been getting their feedback as well. We saw that for a few weeks. We were getting their feedback, and now we're really not getting as much feedback from them.
That's true.
So now it's, you know, the main event, the Dolls against the Dazzling Divas.
And I feel bad that the
Tyrus's
team, they never actually, I mean, I don't know, are they making him like be such an agitator because they never get to go up against him.
And he promised this, and he's like, oh, I will for sure see you guys out there. And we didn't get to see him.
It's just getting sadder. It's just getting sadder and sadder. So either, you know,
maybe they just bring Tyrus on just to give us some theatrics.
Some little razzle dazzle.
Yeah, he's just thrown in there. So we get a chance to see the Dolls. They go first. They throw a stance, which we've seen quite often, I could say, this season. The whole, you know, one by one death drop.
I love that.
It's a great stance, but with the sound bites of Rick saying the Dolls do a lot of repetitive stance, it did kind of seem that way. I kind of wanted to see something different. We're going up against really big teams, and we're doing a lot of the same stance from what I could see, from what they showed us.
Right.
And then the Dazzling Divas, they come out and they're freaking dazzling, okay? They are throwing so many stunts that were like mind-blowing.
They're throwing those girls so high up in the air. I'm just like, ugh.
I was so nervous how high they were throwing them. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like their team, you can totally tell that they've been together for a while because they are on point. Like their tricks and their stunts are like crazy. And then their formations and their lines and like their timing is literally perfectly the same.
Yeah.
Like they are a tough team to beat, and I enjoy watching them. And I haven't said that about a lot of teams. Like, you know, some people love the Prancing Tigrettes, or some people love, you know, the Purple Diamonds. But for me, I'm like, I like seeing a really good team that they know each other. Like they're an actual team. It doesn't seem like individual people. Like
you see the cohesion between them.
Yeah. It was just really cool to see. And then I enjoy the aggressiveness because for me, I feel like that's what we're supposed to be seeing.
Yeah.
I don't really
want to
see a soft dancer.
I mean, yeah, I agree. I really like that team. I think they're one of my favorites too.
Yeah.
It's a shame that Miss D says that, you know, not only does Rick and the other coach have attitude a lot of the times, but she said some of the girls do too. So
Right. Yeah, and
that's too bad that they're taught, you know, that they're following the example of their coach.
I think it's a thin line to find, you know, when you are teaching aggression, and to leave that on the dance floor. And a lot of teams, you know, we got a chance to see, even with the dolls, how Miss D reacted this week, you know, which we'll get into in a little bit. But a lot of the things, people get inside their feelings instead of thinking, you know, let me leave this here, and then when I walk away or when I go and shake someone's hand, I don't have that anger or aggression inside of me, because what I was doing was my job.
Yep, for sure.
So,
Miss D's always so classy about it too. Like she'll usually give, you know, a team props, or if she has criticism, she says it in a way where it's just like, this is, you know, she's never just like, we're gonna show you you guys don't have anything on us. I don't know. She never has that.
So we finally get to see, okay, the competition's done, and the duo, the dolls, won second. I kind of felt bad, just because the fact that with Faith, I think with the doll box 2, that competition, they got second too, right? When they did the...
Oh, you know what? Yeah, I don't know. Did they?
I think that they did get second, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they got second on that one.
I felt like that second place was just probably due to the uncomfortableness of the cross, Jesus on the cross. Yeah. Like, it just seemed just a little bit uncomfortable. The judges might have thought that. That's where I think the second place came from.
I agree with you. So the Dazzling Divas of Macon, Georgia got first place. And then in stand battle, it's reversed. The dolls get first, and the Macon Dazzling Divas get second. Do you think that the dolls should have got?
I think so. The chair splits and a lot of the other tricks that they threw in there, those were tough. They really, I think they deserve first.
For me, for some reason, I think that the Macon team should have got it, just because of their stunts.
Yeah.
Like, I've never even seen the dolls do anything like that. And I'm not saying like the dolls have to do exactly what they do, but the stunts that they had were like mind blowing.
Yeah.
And maybe they have a guy on their team. Like, it's better, you know, you have more power and strength to throw someone so high. You know, I was like, man, I want someone to throw me that high. But then coming down is like really, really scary.
Yeah.
Have you ever been thrown up that high?
Oh, hell no. I'm too big to be a flyer. I'm a base.
You're
for
a base?
Sure. Yeah. I'm a base from day one. Yep.
They're like, you are a base.
Yep. Oh, hell yeah. I know very well that I am not a flyer.
Yeah.
I would love to be.
Yeah.
Would love to be the dainty one, but never am.
Yeah. Well, let's get into some news and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV News.
So, you have news and gossip.
Yeah, it's not really gossip, but I just thought it was funny. Miss D put up on social media that she was like, you know, people come up to me when I'm out on the street and when I'm with my family. And like a lot of people who are in the public eye will always be like, don't approach me. I don't, you know, this is my personal time. Don't do it. Miss D was like, I'm with, you know, I'm happy to talk to anybody, but don't shout DD4L to me. She was like, it's startling. You're in a strange place and somebody starts screaming at you. It puts you in a weird place. She basically just like approach her, but indoor voices. So that was a good lesson for anyone out there who might run across Miss D.
And if you do run across her, these are some of the tour dates. If you guys want to go see the Bring It Live tour, they are starting off in June 24th. They'll be in Baton Rouge. Then the 25th. So it looks like it's all in the South, like you mentioned. Shreveport, Louisiana, the 26th, so it's back to back. 26th, they'll be in Memphis, Tennessee. 27th, Alabama. 28th, Nashville. 29th, Atlanta. The 14th of July, Charlotte, North Carolina. 15th, Norfolk, Virginia. the 16th, Baltimore, and then the 17th, they'll be back in Richmond, Virginia.
And I did see something where they posted that, like, you can go to their website, excuse me, and say if they're not coming to your city, you can petition for them to come to your city.
I'm looking at it here. Demand a show.
Yeah.
So let me click that now. And you guys go click that as well. And you just need to put in your email address, it looks like, and a little code. And it already has your city. And demand them to come to your city. I want them to come here to LA. And also, I'm demanding you guys to go on iTunes and go rate our show. Give us a 5-star rating.
Segue? That was seamless.
Give us a 5-star rating. Let us know what you guys love or dislike about our show, but still give us 5 stars. Also, as well, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Let us know all of your thoughts and feelings. Give us some more information. You guys have been so fantastically awesome with giving us the most perfect information each week. You know, you guys watch, and then next thing I know, I'm like getting in my car to drive away, and in LA you can't drive with your cell phone, so I'm like trying to like watch and like drive. I'm like, English, do this when you get home. But I just get so excited to get all of my direct messages of the stance. And I got a chance to see, and I know last week I was kind of like shunning the whole, you know, glow in the dark theme situation, the Halloween competition, but someone sent me. Did you watch it?
Yeah.
So I was blown away. I had to like retract my statement. So let me say this on air. I retract all the things that I said, because you know what? You guys, they did an awesome job. It was very long.
We need another like booming thing for like we do with predictions where it's like retracted statement.
Yeah, retracted statement. Exactly. You guys, it was long. It was like 7 minutes.
And it starts, I think what's great about it is the drama, because it starts slow. I love that.
Very slow. And at first I was like, okay, are they gonna dance? Like, what's going on? And then when they brought it, and you know, some of the lights went out. I did notice that some of the people's lights went out. But it was a long stand. It was like really, really cool. It was really creative. And I have to say to Lifetime, you guys need to stop showing us the bad parts. Yeah. Like, show us more stuff, because it's making it look really bad. Like, that whole situation was like literally equivalent to a halftime show at the Super Bowl or at like a sports game.
I almost started this episode. I don't remember. I should have wrote down what it was exactly, but there was something that we saw in one of the dances where I was like, I wonder if there's some weird, like, maybe Miss D has like some contract thing where she doesn't want Lifetime to show certain parts of the dance or something, because they seem to choose odd parts to show us, which are not exemplifying the dance.
Yeah, like how I was saying, like, we keep seeing the same stance thrown over and over, and I can imagine they have tons of stances, so they're probably not gonna give the same stance every week. But it seems like, because of what we're watching, that we keep seeing the same stance, that whole death drop one by one by one. We've seen that every week. And so to me, I'm like, give us something else to be a fan about. I can't even be a fan of the dolls, then I have to jump on the Dazzling Divas of Macon, Georgia's side because of the fact of you guys not showing us the correct footage. So we really appreciate you guys sending us all of that great footage, because you know, we get a chance to still be a fan, and I appreciate that, and that's all that matters, because we are fans watching this show, just like you guys.
That's why we love this show. That's why you guys do, because you appreciate these girls' talent.
Yeah,
they bring it.
So let's get into some predictions.
And now your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Do you have one?
Not really. I'm just starting to think that because Cameron is now, or not Cameron, because Faith is now getting, just had a couple like solo opportunities now. What is the other? There's captain, but there's also a
co-captain.
There's co-captain. I thought there was like a third thing too that was like dance captain or something like that. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think I'm wondering if Faith is gonna get a chance to become like co-captain or something, some sort of bumped up position.
Well, Christiana is technically the co-captain.
Is she?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and then, yeah, Cameron's the captain and Christiana is the co-captain.
I thought there was like a third designation,
Title.
but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. But maybe, maybe she'll get, because we do get a chance to see the same people each week. And I know they always have, there are 5 like starter girls that we get a chance to see. But, we do get a chance to see other girls that in the background that are just as well as good.
Yeah.
So maybe she's not at their level yet. I don't know. My prediction, which is the same prediction every week, is that the twins aren't going to do this anymore. And Selena is the one carrying them.
I thought when Miss D this episode said, like, I'm cutting them, I thought she meant like, whoa, for good? And then I realized, no, just from this dance.
Yeah,
but.
just probably from this dance. No, I hope not for good unless they don't want to be there. Yeah. And I know someone got mad in the comments about us talking about them, but I mean, are you guys watching the same show that we are? Like,
tell us why. Yeah. If you're championing for the twins, tell us why.
Yeah.
We're open to
discussion.
All opinions.
Yeah. And we'll also be back here next week. We thank you guys so much for tuning in to another fantastic after show of Lifetime's Bring It. I am your host, English Cleveland. I have thoroughly enjoyed you guys this evening. You guys can always find me on Instagram at Pink English, as well as on Twitter, English Speaks.
And you can find me on Twitter at Brown Tamara and on Instagram at Tamara_blue.
And until next week, we will see you guys later.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.